It is 9:15. It's time for the Coffee Klatch to continue. And Pat Cahill is here from Buffalo Ridge Defense. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, Bob. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. And it dawned cold.
It's gotten cold. We don't have any snow. That's a good thing.
Well, it's trying.
It's trying to snow,
Yeah,
but I shouldn't say it's a good thing. There's a lot of industry that rely on the snow and the trails and snowmobiles.
Yeah,
a lot of tourism and
a lot of guys out there that are just crying because they can't get the snowmobile.
I just talked to some friends that were going to go up to the UP to go snowmobiling, and their trails are closed. They don't have enough snow. So
no kidding.
I checked the local listings up there to make sure.
Yeah.
Wherever they were going, the trails weren't open. So
be prepared if you go. Don't even take the machine off the trailer. In fact, don't even take the trailer with you.
Well, there might be some people that do that anyway, but
well, there might be. So, what's happening with Buffalo Ridge Defense?
Well, we had a great 2024. We're looking forward to a fantastic 2025.
All right.
We have lots of classes scheduled between our local classes here that are in Amory or in Osceola at the Osceola Rod and Gun Club. Actually, at St. Croix Falls. Dresser is the technical address.
Yeah.
Eau Claire. At the Westgate Sportsman's Club under U.S. Gun Class. And then we also teach in Superior at Barker's Island once a month. Those are all once-a-month classes that happen, and that's also under U.S. Gun Class up there. So I wear two hats, Buffalo Ridge Defense and a U.S. Gun Class. I'm a contract person for one of the contract instructors, so I go in and teach those classes.
And it's an amazing thing to me anyway, that there are that many people that keep you busy in that many places.
Well, there are. Minnesota loves instructors. All right, I'll say that.
Okay.
Minnesota does because to get your concealed carry permit in Minnesota, it's valid for 5 years.
Oh.
At the end of 5 years, and so is Wisconsin's, but at the end of 5 years, Minnesota requires you to take the entire course over again. You can't just renew; you have to take it over. So I always joke that Minnesota loves instructors as part of my retirement program. So about 50% of the people in my classes are from Minnesota or wishing to renew their Minnesota concealed carry permit.
Wow.
And or they're from Wisconsin and they'd like to carry their firearm once they cross the bridge into Minnesota. And
so for those, it's required as well.
Correct. Anyone that gets a Wisconsin, when you get your Wisconsin concealed carry permit, you can carry a firearm in 35 states. Wisconsin has reciprocity with 35 other states.
Okay.
The state that it doesn't have reciprocity with is Minnesota.
Right next door.
Right next door. So Minnesota won't recognize Wisconsin's permit. Wisconsin, by statute, recognizes Minnesota's, but Minnesota doesn't recognize Wisconsin. So all Wisconsin residents that we live right next to the border, don't want to stop, unload, and case their firearm before they drive into Minnesota, then they also get a Minnesota permit to carry, it's called, over there.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to get. You just have to take the class and jump through the hoops. And once you jump through all the hoops, and over there, the permits are issued by the sheriff's departments, where in Wisconsin, it's issued by the Department of Justice.
Okay.
So as a non-resident, you can go to any sheriff's department in Minnesota and get your concealed carry permit. But as a Minnesota resident, you have to go to the sheriff's department of the county you live in. So that's the only difference. But it's the same.
They got
permit.
all these changes between. It's across the river, for goodness sake.
Well, it is just across the river, and we can make all kinds of jokes about across the river. I'm sure they do also.
I'm sure.
But it's the risk. The reason you carry a firearm is so you're hard to kill and your family's hard to kill, right?
Exactly.
It's a last resort, only used as an absolute last resort, but it gives you the options to defend yourself and your family.
Yep.
That risk for many people would be greater going into the Twin City area than living in Amory, Wisconsin, or Luck or St. Croix Falls.
Yeah.
Not that bad things can't happen here. Bad things can happen anywhere. There's bad people that want to hurt people.
Yeah, there sure is.
And you see that across the country. We're fortunate to live in a rural area that the crime rate's a lot lower.
We're very fortunate.
The burglary rate out here is only like, I think it's in Wisconsin, the burglary rate is around 125 per 100,000 compared to 175 per 100,000 in Minnesota.
Across the river,
in the worst ones, in the worst areas, some of them are almost 500,000, 600,000, and there's a lot of burglaries every year. So
yeah, there are,
and they happen. In Wisconsin, they're more during the summer months, not in the winter months. It's too cold for burglars to go outside and stalk and look around.
Yeah.
But and I think that people don't realize that the most common time for burglaries is from 10 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. That's when most people are gone. So
sure.
It's more important.
Makes
it's
sense.
as important to lock your home when you're there.
Oh, man. Locking is an absolute essential. And your car, too. Because
the number one way people steal things is from cars. And the number one way that guns are stolen, 60% of the reported firearms that are stolen from motor vehicles.
Really?
Yeah, people put them in their center console, or they leave them in their trunk, or they put them in their glove box, and none of those things are secure. Any generic key can open them, or a big screwdriver.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's not a secure way to have it. And of those burglaries, by the way, I think that about 30 to 40% of them involve an assault on the people in the home. There turns out to be someone in the home, or someone comes home to surprise them, or whatever's happening. Yes, so it's why it's just as important to lock your doors when you're home.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it doesn't matter, where you are and what you're in. You should lock it.
Well,
it takes a second.
It takes a second to do, and all the little things that you can do to help prevent yourself from being hurt.
Sure.
Things you can avoid. Lots of things. We always talk about staying situation aware and knowing what's going on around you.
Yeah.
But avoid. People laugh and they'll ask me. They go, "Well, you're not afraid to go anywhere. You carry a gun." And I go, "No. Here's the deal. I don't go anywhere with a gun. I would be too afraid to go without a gun." Right?
I get you. Same
because
difference.
it's why would you put yourself in, why would you knowingly go into a bad spot? If you're not a police officer, not in war, why would you go into a bad spot?
That's true.
You avoid it. You be aware. Even whether it doesn't matter to me whether you're at church, you're at the mall, you're at the store, wherever you're at. You need to be aware because. You never know. Look at the people in New Orleans. They had no idea when they were on the street just participating in a New Year's celebration, someone was going to drive a car through the crowd. Yeah. But that guy knew he was going to drive the car through the crowd.
He knew. For a long time.
For a long time. Planned it, did it, was going to do it.
Yep.
And, that's one of the things I'm especially aware of when I'm around large groups and large gatherings because that's where the people are.
Yeah,
that's where the target is.
And that's where bad things will happen before most any place else.
Yeah. That's why one of the things we're doing at Buffalo Ridge is we're offering a free service to churches and organizations that are interested in talking about what it would look like to have heightened security at their facility without looking like Fort Knox, right? Let's be honest. The church is there for one reason. That's to dispel the gospel of Christ. That's what we want to do. We're there for the people that are hurting and people that are lost and people that want to be saved. We're there to share the gospel of Christ with everyone. And we're not there to make Fort Knox, right?
That's right.
And consequently, the doors have to be open to people that have. They have to be open to everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, what your past is. The doors open to everyone.
Yeah.
But so we offer this free service where we'll come in and we'll talk to them about things they can do to harden their perimeter, to make it harder for bad people to do things while keeping the church open at all times.
I've often wondered, just because I wonder, with churches. I don't suppose in Wisconsin, or maybe it's different in other states. Do they ever have a sign that says no guns allowed on this premises?
No, I've never seen one. Not any of the churches I went to. I'm sure there are.
I imagine so. Depends on where you live.
There's people that don't want your right to protect yourself no matter where you're at.
That's
in fact, I have seen one that said, know that a certain number of people in this church are armed. If you're coming here to harm the people in this church, your day might not end like it started.
I like that one.
Yeah, and but just because you have a bunch of people with guns in a church doesn't make the church safer if they don't know what they're doing, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So there's a lot of things you can do. And that's why we offer this free service. Any church can call us, and we have a free service. We come there for free. Yeah. And I'll spend 2 hours with their leaders or with whoever. And we'll talk about it. I don't go set their program up. I don't do anything else. I just give them an overview.
Sure.
And what they choose to do after I leave, or if they want more training, we can do that too. But, what they choose to do is up to them. But
sure.
there's a fine line where you have to balance security but still be open to everyone that wants to come in.
Yeah.
And the simplest one is lock the doors. I'll give you that one.
Yeah,
it's lock the doors. I mean, if there's a function at a church, at a school, I don't care where it is. If there's a function at a church or a school or a city hall or wherever that function's at, and people don't like this, but if there's a large gathering of people, the door should be locked. Always. Now, there should be a greeter at that door that opens the door when you're walking up,
Sure.
that lets you in, and as you're approaching it, you'll never have any idea that the door is locked, right?
Yeah.
That's what the greeter's there to do, and to invite you in. Once you're in the building, of course, anyone can go out any door.
Yeah.
Once you're in a building,
Yeah.
that's by code, so you can always escape. But if the greeter sees someone approaching, as an example, that's got a long trench coat on, I'm really going to stereotype, long trench coat, a stocking mask, stocking hat on and a mask over his face, holding a big stick or a firearm or something, you might not want to open the door and let him in. When that sounds strange, but if you see someone with the pre-attack indicators, like they've got rage in their eyes, it could be it's not going to be some jihadi terrorist coming into your church. It's typically going to be someone that has some affiliation with the church, that might be a contentious divorce, might be a child custody battle, might be someone that's had some chemical dependency problems in the past and is coming back and is upset with people there that he thought criticized him, he or she. It doesn't matter. If you see someone coming in that looks really upset and in full rage and fists are clenched and has all the pre-attack indicators, don't open the door.
Exactly.
Call someone and let them go outside and meet him.
Yeah.
And so there's lots of things that you can do to do that. But it's a free service we offer.
I was going to say, it's free. Why wouldn't everybody take advantage of it?
Right.
Of course, a lot of people don't like to recognize it's a problem.
Well, they live out here in Amory, Wisconsin. What could ever go wrong?
Where generally speaking, it isn't a problem.
It's not a problem till it is.
Yeah,
it's never a problem till it is. And then they're going to say, what if? Why didn't?
Why didn't we?
And then they're going to look to who they can blame, when a lot of the blame might just come from the fact that you didn't do a simple thing like lock the door.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. You didn't do a simpler thing, which is call Pat Cahill, have him come and do a presentation that costs you nothing.
That's right. It costs nothing. It's a 2-hour presentation. It's an evening, and it's part of what I do to give back to the communities.
Sure.
And it's to any organization wants to have. All you have to do is call me. 715-491-6952.
There you go.
They call me or go onto the Buffalo Ridge Defense website page, buffaloridgedefense.com, and send me a message through the page saying, can I do this? And if you look, we have these free classes scheduled on the USCCA site and everywhere. They're scheduled, but they say to be set, because I need the group of people to say, well, I want to have it at my church.
Well, sure.
All right, if I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
but
you're not just going to go there and present.
And if you're not
nobody.
happy with what I said, don't implement it and ask me for a refund.
Yeah, right.
Because it was free.
I want to watch that refund happen.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Yeah.
So, have we covered what you wanted to cover?
Oh, sure, yeah. Our next class is coming up locally on January 11th at the Osceola Rod and Gun Club.
Okay.
And that's not the free class. That's a concealed carry class. But it's anyone that wants to go to any of the classes, participate, or has any questions about concealed carry, whether it's right for you, maybe you just want to learn more about a firearm, maybe you want to learn more how to store it. We've got a new dry fire range that we've set up at our office that's for people to practice without going to the range. We have classes scheduled right here in Amory for people that want to just get more familiar with guns, how to take them apart, put them together, how to clean them, how to do different things, because a lot of people that own them don't know that. They haven't grown up with them, so
if you
they need
didn't
the
grow up
knowledge.
with it, it's pretty hard to know.
Well, no one ever taught you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like saying I own a car, but no one ever taught me how to drive it. Well, how's that going to turn out, right? Or
Not very well.
How many people own pianos in their home that don't know how to play them?
Exactly.
Or aren't ready to play them in church. So, yeah.
What's that phone number one more time and the website?
So you can reach me at 715-491-6952. 715-491-6952 or buffaloridgedefense.com.
All right. Well, Pat, I thank you for coming over. I didn't know that you had free services to churches just teaching.
It's not just churches. It's any organization. Any organization that are putting on a dance or a street dance or a park or whatever they want to have. They have local law enforcement, maybe, but they don't necessarily set up the protocols.
Yeah.
They we're blessed to have great law enforcement officers around.
We are.
And emergency services personnel. But there's only a couple of them, right? And
That's right.
It takes a community to keep everyone safe.
And knowledge is
knowledge.
power.
And if you see something, say something, right?
Exactly.
Don't just let it go.
Exactly. Thanks, Pat.
All right. Have a great day.
Pat Cahill from Buffalo Ridge Defense. It is